And now, live from the Steel Twins recording studio in beautiful Traverse City, Michigan, it's your boys, the Cannonball, the Cannon, the Steel Twins. What's up, everybody? It's a Sunday night, and you know what that means.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, and look who I am. Look, I'm upstairs. He's downstairs. We are in two separate spaces and in one giant channel, baby.
Oh yeah, listen. The expansion has begun. So in case anybody hasn't been following, my brother and I worked together to get him a brand new streaming rig. It's nice, kids. It's real nice. And he had a little bit of a test run on his own Twitch channel, Steel Twins Andy, with Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. Go over there and check that out. And
unfortunately, I forgot to switch on store past broadcasts on this channel, so unfortunately that video is not available. But I will tell you that I did have that first stream, and this will be the first of many. And I did turn it on, so you will probably see you will probably see videos piling up starting tomorrow when I stream Nostalgic Monday, starting with Mega Man.
Okay, ooh, Mega Man. Now that's a nostalgic game if I ever heard of one.
Oh yeah.
So
not only that, but I cashed in my $25 gift card, bought the Mega Man Anniversary Collection, the second Mega Man Anniversary Collection, and Mega Man 11. So I got Mega Man's 1 through 11.
Okay, that's quite a lot. Yeah, that should be a lot of fun. Definitely, we'll definitely have more content ready for you. We know this holiday season, kind of left you guys starving for some voice acting, but not to fear. We're going to get right back on the train, when the new year starts. And we're going to go ahead and get this started right now. So go ahead and let's pull it up and let's do it together. If you have a cap to your bottle or a pin on your can, you go ahead and pull that pin back or twist that cap off with a twisty twist. Hey, package. What time is it?
It's time to get bombed.
Cheers.
Cheers, Mike. I hit the spot.
I'm putting it over on the right. So, well, what the heck are we waiting for? Live scene.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, when last we left our intrepid heroes, we were investigating a kidnapping, and now we're investigating a murder. One of the kidnappers was thought to be the victims, the kidnapping victims, butler, but nah, that's not right at all. So we're gonna load.
Regroup it with Ernest Amano.
Yep. So here we go. We are going to continue. And we hope to conclude, but we will continue. Episode 3, The Kidnapped Turnabout.
Good news. The check cleared. It's go time.
Gotta love it.
Feedback is appreciated, and if you can hear us, great.
And if
March
not,
13th.
And if not, please let us know. March 13th, 2:34 p.m. Wild Wild West area. Wild Wild West. Wild Wild West. It just reminds me of that movie with Will Smith.
Yup.
Anyway, here we go.
Looks like we got the boot again.
With Lance safe, the focus of the investigation will shift solely onto the murder.
You mean the infighting between the kidnappers?
Yes, and also the identity of the remaining kidnapper.
Miles, my boy. Tell me it's true. Tell me that you've really found my boy.
Yes, Mr. Amano. We found him earlier in the stadium.
Then my little Lance is unhurt?
He's not exactly the picture of perfect health, but his life is not in danger. He's being questioned right now by Agent Lang.
Poor Lance. It must have been so horrible for him. Locked up like a...
I think we should just talk to him. Wait a minute.
Miles, my boy, I can't thank you enough.
It was nothing.
I'm still in shock over what happened to Oliver, but I have to say I'm relieved that Lance is all right. Oh, that's right. I mustn't forget to pass this on to Lance as soon as the police are finished with him.
A letter?
Oh, crap, I just... So... the way Lance is being chased after by women reminds me of someone I know. I almost can't believe he received yet another love letter, you know. Here, take a look for yourself.
Isn't this a breach of confidentiality?
My dear Lance Amano, may I come see you again? You're Viola. No, it can't be that Viola, can it? I mean, it's got the blood dripping ink and all that shit. Tender Lender Loan Company, dude.
Well, no way.
Yes way.
Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus.
Call back your recipe for turnabout.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's a very simple love letter.
Oh? Hey, let me see. That's really weird. It's from a loan company, Tender Lender. Looks more like a collection bill to me.
Love letter data jotted down in my organizer. Letter for Lance Amano. The sender is the Tender Lender Loan Company. All right, talk to Lauren. I think she has more like a southern accent, like Bonnie. Remember Bonnie and Clyde?
He loves me. He loves me not. He loves me. He loves me not. Oh, that's the 12th one. No, you can't give up, Lauren. Just one more try.
Excuse me, but I can't help but feel a bit sorry for all the flowers you've gone through.
I suppose if they were me, then... Oh.
I believe you said that you are Lance's girlfriend when we first met, correct?
Yes, I am, but... Oh, it's not like we both think of each other as lovers. But he did give me this ring, so I guess we're not just friends either? I mean, because this isn't just any ordinary ring. It tastes so sweet when you lick it. Ah, it's so wonderful.
You mean to tell me that he gave you a lollipop ring?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God.
So which is it? Have you guys not decided if you're going out? Or is it just one-sided?
Decided? Shouldn't the parties involved naturally just know?
Sometimes it don't work like that, Edgy boy.
My father used to work for Mr. Amano. And so Lance and I grew up together. I said it out loud.
I don't see how that's anything to be embarrassed about.
I don't think embarrassment's the proper word here, Jack.
So your father was an employee of the Amano Group. What did he do?
I heard his job was to fly around the world on Pegasus.
Pegasus?
Oh, a Pegasus was the name of the airplane. The airplane belonged to the company. You had me there for a second. But now, it's all changed. My father, he isn't around anymore. Oh, I see. About 10 years ago, he rode off in Pegasus off to somewhere, and he never returned.
Riding Pegasus to whereabouts unknown. Sounds like the stuff legends are made of.
It's been so long, I don't think I'd recognize him if we were ever to meet again. I'm so sorry, Lauren. But I won't give in to the sadness. I have to live. Yes, Lauren, live.
About the case. About this incident.
Incident? But isn't the kidnapping already over and dealt with? I've been here the whole time, so I'm afraid I don't know much about any other incident.
How did you come to know that Lance had been kidnapped?
That's because of my woman's intuition.
You based everything on that?
I know everything when it comes to my Lance. It's really strange. It really must be destiny. Oh. She started fantasizing again. So what are you gonna do now, Mr. Edgeworth?
We already established that there's a good chance that the killer is the other kidnapper. It's my duty to figure out who this other person is. I believe there is one location that might hold a clue or two. Kidnapper's hideout.
Either the kidnapper's hideout or the crime scene, or maybe
Gotta
it's
be the kidnapper's. No, it ain't the isolation room. Kidnapper's hideout. The obvious location is the kidnapper's hideout.
But we're still not allowed in, remember?
Agent Lang and his men should be done with this area. In that case, there is no harm in asking that officer over there to let us in. All right, get to him.
Which one? The one on the left or
The
the one on
blue,
top?
one up top. What do you have to report?
Sir!
Sir, nothing unusual or out of the ordinary, sir. Huh? Where have I heard such redundancy before? Is it possible for you to let us take a look around inside? Yes, sir. Roger, sir. That was surprisingly hassle-free. Are you certain? Didn't Agent Lang order you not to allow me in? Sir, that's true, sir, but Detective Gumshoe asked me personally to let you in, sir. And I couldn't refuse the request from him.
Wow, looks like Detective Gumshoe has a following.
Furthermore, I was asked to give this document to you, sir. What is this? The man in this picture, isn't this Mr. Oliver Deacon?
Colin Devery.
Whereabouts unknown after his escape from Penny Dent Prison. Stole a gun from a guard during his escape. We thought he might head for where his wife and sole daughter are. Sole daughter?
Oh.
But despite our surveillance, he has yet to show up.
But the name here says Colin Devery.
That's the same name as the one in the back of the pendant. It appears that Colin Devery was his real name. What's this? He was convicted in a case 10 years ago and sent to prison.
What? Then what was he doing here?
Apparently, he broke out of jail and then just vanished. He must have become Oliver Deacon to cover up the fact that he was an escaped felon. Colin Devery dossier data jotted down in my organizer details Oliver Deacon's real name and history.
Now I'm not sure what's going on anymore.
Is there some sort of link between the victim's past and this current case? These police documents are rather detailed. I should take the time to give them a thorough read eventually. It's fine. Let's focus on one thing at a time, starting with the kidnapper's hideout.
Yeah, I agree. We should investigate first, think later.
More than thinking things through, I think you should try remembering things first. Now then, if you could please unlock the door, officer. It was locked up until a little while ago, but since then, the door's been wide open, sir. I'm not sure I follow what it is you're saying. Care to explain in a bit more detail? Sir, the door was locked down tight when they went to check out the room. So they got about 10 officers to help out and break the door down, sir. I see. I guess that means I get Agent Lang's leftovers. Well, let's see what we find.
Okay.
All right, here we go. March 13th, 2:55 p.m., Kidnappers Hideout.
Yep, that's the other side of the room.
Yep. So this is where the kidnappers planned their foul deed.
Well, you were tied up for a while in the room next door.
Kay, please. Must you bring that up again? Now then, down to business. There might still be some clues left in this room. Let's try to find out what we can of the other kidnapper's identity.
Begin investigation.
Begin investigation! Kidnappers Hideout.
Ooh, they have barrels just like these out. They have barrels like these just outside.
Yes, and?
Well, I know I already asked you when we were out there, but if these were real, what would you put in them?
There's an expectant gleam in their eyes, and I'm about to dash.
Expectant.
There's an expectant gleam in her eyes, and I'm about to dash.
What's in here?
Look at this. This must be where they dispose of old and worn-out costumes.
It's so sad.
It would seem that they throw the costumes away in pieces.
Oh, hey! Take a look at that hand. It looks like there might be a bullet mark. There's a trash
Either that
bin.
or the prop gun was ripped out of the hand or something.
Something happened to that hand.
Beyond this door
Is where the kidnappers held you after getting the jump on you.
must you keep reminding me?
But it's the room where I got to see your awesome no face.
You didn't need to remind me of that mortifying moment either.
All right, hold on.
Search that table and coffee. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. Gotta get that line up there.
Yeah,
Those 3 cups of coffee. I wonder what this key is to.
You got me.
It reminds me of the key we found in the other room.
That's it. This must be the key for one of the trap doors.
That wasn't a trap door. You only called it one because you quite literally jumped into it.
Hey, but isn't that what you're supposed to do when you see one?
I am not having this conversation with you.
Okay.
Cheap styrofoam cups.
Looks like only 3 cups were used.
You're on top
3
of the
cups.
table. Go
They're on
ahead.
top of the table. The coffee looks like it was poured today.
So that means there were 3 kidnappers. Or 3
And the
people.
chairs. Folding chairs, and by the looks of it, they were probably used by the kidnappers.
There are 3 chairs set around the table.
3 of them were set up. It's very likely that the kidnappers sat in these. I think I'm seeing a connection here. Get some logic time.
Yep.
Folding chairs, 3 cups. Connect. The common denominator between the cups and folding chairs is the number 3. Speaking of which, the number of missing costumes is also 3.
Wait, but I thought there were only 2 kidnappers.
Indeed, something isn't adding up, literally. Is it possible there is a 3rd kidnapper that Lance didn't see? Okay, back it up. Okay, back it up.
Well, let's see what else I can look at. Here's
A poster of Gatewaterland is stuck on this wall. Intrigue, fun, prestige. Gatewaterland has it all, and it's waiting for you. It's not especially catchy, is it?
Who knows? All right, let's see. So that's all done.
What's that mirror doing?
Watch out, Mr. Edgeworth!
It's a broken mirror. It probably came from the haunted house. Why is this here? Are they planning to repair it? Unused folding chairs leaning against the wall in their folded state.
Wow, whoever lined these up did it perfectly. They're not even a single hair off. I'd feel bad using these because it'd be like stealing the perfection away.
I suspect it's more like you would want to be the one to put them away.
Hey, there's a trapdoor in this room too.
It's not a trapdoor. It's an entrance to an underground passage, Kay.
I know that.
The door leading to the outside world was locked. So Lance must have escaped his prison through here. Well, what about that door, that creak door here? See that? This door is thoroughly broken thanks to the police who forced it open. I won't rest until I inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny.
Well, there's two of these things. There's a sword here.
Looks like a sword. A broken sword.
Strange. Why would it be broken like that? Found mine next to the door. Swords don't usually break on their own.
That's true.
All right then, let's think about it in this way. Maybe it broke when someone was trying to use it for or on something. Hypotheticals aren't going to get us anywhere. Perhaps we should think more on this later. Now that handle, take a look at that handle.
Yeah, it's pretty jimmied.
The doorknob handle thingy is looking pretty beat up.
I suppose that's what happens when 10 officers break their way in with brute force.
Hey, that's odd. The lock on this is completely fine. Look, not a single dent.
So, in point of fact, maybe it's because the sword was used on the handle, so the door couldn't open. It's
Right. But how is that possible after what that officer told us?
Yeah, if the lock had been in use when the door was busted down, then the lock itself should be completely wrecked.
So the lock on the door leading to the outside is undamaged. How can that be?
I think I got some logic coming in.
All right, here we go.
The door leading... Okay, so the broken prop sword and the door leading outside. Huh?
Boom. It's a bit strange that the police had to force their way into an unlocked room. One look at the pristine door lock and anyone can see that it was not in use at the time.
But the policeman outside said it took 10 men to get it open.
A door that was locked tight despite it being not locked at all. It can only be because of this.
Oh, you mean...
Yes, it was used to jam the door. Here, take a look at the door handle. Do you see how the handle is completely destroyed?
So that's how the sword broke.
Broken prop sword data jotted down on my organizer was used to jam the handle to the hideout's door.
So then what the heck?
I thought that we might uncover the true identity of the kidnappers. But instead, we've only uncovered more questions that need to be answered.
Yeah.
Ah!
What is it?
Well, okay, so... Oh, let me do this.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, am I correct?
What are you doing suddenly popping out of the secret entrance like that?
This is an underground passage used by staff members, sir. We Badgers also make use of it in our duties.
look, why don't you get out of there first and then we'll talk, okay?
I beg your pardon, miss.
Proto Badger, get! Oh, right! Only one more to go!
What are you getting all excited about?
Ugh, did you forget? The photo rally, duh! See? Look! Now all I have to do is get a picture of the Bad Badger and I'm done!
Ah, yes. I vaguely recall a contest or something of that sort.
What the shit?
What? It's gone. But where did it go?
What happened? What's wrong?
A Bad Badger costume is missing.
So I don't know who this dude is, so I'm just going to use my normal voice. A Bad Badger costume is missing, sir.
Is that all? Well, it's missing because the kidnappers stole it.
I heard about how they were stolen, but they said that only 3 of the costumes have been taken.
What? Is he saying that more than 3 of them are gone?
Well, remember, we found Wendy Oldbag in one of the costumes. So, you know, so that could be the 4th. Anyway.
Mr. Proto Badger, please tell me a little more about these costumes you use.
Oh my god.
Can I talk to him? What did you mean by a Bad Badger costume is missing?
Why, just what I said, sir. We are 1 Bad Badger short. Counting the spares, we have 2 of each costume on hand at all times.
Okay, so because one of them is walking around in the park...
The other one should be in that room.
Actually, both of them should be in that room.
Huh? What do you mean?
Normally, we don't use the Bad Badger costumes. In fact, we only use them during a certain event at a set time each day. It's the stage show where the Bad Badger wreaks havoc around the park, and the other Badgers must work together to apprehend him, sir.
I'm speechless that such a show exists.
Well, sir, I was just trying to explain to you the only time we use that costume.
Then that doesn't make it near impossible to take a picture of the Bad Badger?
Personally, I can't believe that it's this close to showtime and there's no costume. Oh dear, what am I to do, sir?
All this basically means is that the kidnappers stole 4 costumes in total.
Then are you saying that there are 4 kidnappers?
No, I don't think that's very likely.
Oh?
Recall the costumes for a minute.
The stolen ones, you mean?
What proves that the 4th kidnapper does not exist? That costume in the... right there.
This one here.
Yeah. If you had 4 people and you had wanted to steal a 4th costume, wouldn't you naturally go for the full set and steal a pink badger costume instead?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And yet the kidnappers decided to steal another Bad Badger. I believe the culprits needed 2 Bad Badger costumes, but the question is, why? 4th stolen costume by the 3-person kidnap group. Where's the other costume?
Is it in the
Check the
trash
logic.
here?
You know, check logic. See if you can connect it. Only kind of for Bad Badger costume pieces.
Yep.
The 2nd Bad Badger costume. I believe it may be closer at hand than we think.
What do you mean?
That costume in the trash. Wouldn't you say that it was wearing some very telltale pants?
Hey, you're right! Let's get it out of there and take a look.
As I suspected, it's a Bad Badger costume.
Well, minus the head.
Because the head is in the other room. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. Now check that hand.
Yeah, that's the first place I'm going.
Look, its hand is hurt.
It looks more like something was ripped off of it. Look at it. I wonder why this Bad Badger costume's right hand is torn up like that.
Maybe it's a flesh wound from a fight with a blue badger. I always knew the blue badger was one ferocious beast.
I somehow doubt that even real badgers are as Excuse me. I somehow doubt that even real badgers are as bloodthirsty as that, Kay. Where else? Deduce. Take that hand and deduce something. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? Okay,
Let's take a look.
Before you present anything, check any of the check the pamphlets. Check
Right. There's only
check the
one-
Badger photo rally.
Okay.
There's only one of each badger in the park. Now the Blue Badger Bible. Book detailing info on the whole Badger family. I think
That's because there's the gun that's in his hand.
Eureka! I believe what we have here is an inconsistency.
Between what?
Look carefully. Our costume is not holding something in its right hand that it should be.
Oh, the gun.
Precisely. The Bad Badger was designed to always hold a gun in his right hand. However, you there, did you remove the gun from this Bad Badger's right hand?
No, I did not, sir. The gun is supposed to be securely attached to the costume.
As I thought, the rip itself confirms my hypothesis that the gun was forcibly removed. Mr. Proto-Badger, the gun is, of course, not a functioning weapon, correct?
Absolutely not, sir. It's just a model gun. However, it can fire blanks. We need to use them for the stage show.
It seems that our kidnappers also had a need for the model gun, my dear costumed friend. Missing model gun data jotted down on my organizer was ripped from the Bad Badger costume. It's capable of firing blanks.
What if somebody loaded real cartridges into it?
Uh-oh.
Or what if the shooting in the stadium was staged?
Ooh, what if the murder happened elsewhere?
Yeah, absolutely. It could have happened elsewhere. We gotta look for the...
Investigation complete. I think we're about done with this room.
So what's next?
Well, we found a few answers, but there are still a few things left that we have to ask a certain person about. Let's go, Kay.
March
March
13th,
13th.
3:34 p.m., Wild Wild West area. Mr. Edgeworth, sir. You gotta hurry, sir. Come on.
What is it, Detective?
I found a Blue Badger costume down in front of the main gate, sir.
What?
Isn't that what one of the kidnappers was wearing?
Bingo. That's why I gotta come down to the main gate with me right now. If we hurry, we still might be able to get there before Wolf Boy does, sir.
All right, let's make haste to the main gate.
Oh, no.
To be continued. Oh, yeah, it's only been like, what, 45 minutes?
35 minutes, yeah.
We gotta keep going this.
Gotta keep going.
I think we may end up concluding this. March 13th, 3:45 p.m., Gatewaterland main gate.
He's down on the ground. Uh-oh.
What? Wait a minute. Where's the costume, Detective Gumshoe?
Just on the other side of the fountain, sir. Oh, it's empty.
Uh-oh.
Was it out here in the open all along?
No, it was discovered in the tall grass back there. We moved it out here in order to examine it more thoroughly.
What? Wait a minute.
Yeah, I
You see
it.
that thing?
I sure
Oh my gosh.
do.
Now let's get down to it.
That's the first thing I'm looking at.
I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba.
What do we have here?
Oh, it's another pendant. That's 2 treasures in one day. How lucky is that?
Hang on a second. You see how this is a horse pendant? And that's a pair of wings? Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Yep, there is a connection between those two.
Mm-hmm. Pegasus. But what?
Yeah, baby. But what?
And hey, this pretty baby's made of platinum silver too.
Another pendant on top of the one we found on Mr. Deacon? Is it possible that these two...
Hold it right there.
Yeah.
Hands off, Mr. Prosecutor. You sure know how to cross the line, don't you? A pendant, huh? This is a very decisive piece of evidence.
How can you tell?
Look here and read off what you see.
Lauren. Hey, it's a name that's engraved on this.
Hey.
Whoa.
We know somebody who's named Lauren, don't we?
Yeah.
Hold
yeah.
on a second. Let me see. Where is she? Lauren Pops. Oh
boy.
Lord.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's D too. For Deveray? Missy, you've got some splaining to do. Hey.
Yep. Miss Pop's pendant data jotted down in my organizer. It's shaped like a pair of wings. Lauren D is engraved on the back.
As if it wasn't obvious before. We have you now, Ms. Kidnapper.
No, you don't understand.
Oops. Wrong voice.
How's this?
Yeah, but that's better.
Okay. Who's playing this? Lolly.
You, Lance.
Lolly, I can't believe you were one of my kidnappers.
Lance. You're kidding! Miss Pops was one of the kidnappers? Oh, yes. It was me. I held Lance hostage.
So Miss Pops is one of the kidnappers. But even knowing that, I can't call this case solved or over.
Hey, guys, case closed. Get the car ready, and I mean the special one for this young lady.
Hold it!
Again, Mr. Prosecutor, what is it this time?
Are you proposing that Miss Pops is also the culprit in the murder case? What happened? I thought Officer Meekins was your suspect.
We found it.
Found what?
The murder weapon. That officer's gun. He literally dropped it in the middle of a thick patch of grass. Your country's police are a sham. Just look at how careless they are. Who are you calling a sham? The officer's gun didn't show signs of having been fired, so it can't be the murder weapon.
So Officer Meekins has been cleared of all charges, I see.
Thank God for that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when a brand new suspect comes walking onto the scene. The murder only happened because the kidnappers started fighting amongst themselves. As I recall, it was you who said that, right, Mr. Prosecutor?
Miss Pops, did you really kill Mr. Deacon? Yes, I killed him. I can't believe it.
Thanks for the confession.
Objection! Agent Lang, it's much too early to declare this case closed.
She's covering for somebody. But who? Look at you, so sure of yourself. We've got the culprit's own confession and some very incriminating evidence. What more could you ask for?
Miss Lauren Pops,
Yes?
I want to hear it from you. Tell me your side of all that has happened today, from the kidnapping to the murder.
But why? I'm a kidnapper and the killer. Isn't that enough?
It's fine if you're the one behind everything, but only if that is the truth. Now then, will you tell us the truth? Or is there some reason why you can't?
I've had a change of heart. I think I'd enjoy seeing you sulk away as the losing mud. All right, you heard me. Let's hear about all the evil deeds you committed today.
Okay, time for a little testimony. Miss Pop's confession.
The one who came up with the kidnapping plan was the butler, Mr. Deacon. We knew he could get rich by holding Lance hostage. Mr. Amano would pay anything to get his son back after all. Everything was going according to plan, but as soon as we got the money, Mr. Deacon turned on me and tried to kill me.
There. Are you satisfied? She just confessed to her crimes a second time. At least you have the guts to admit what you've done. I can at least respect that much.
Miss Pops, is that what you said really the truth?
Yes, it is.
If that is the truth, it certainly isn't the whole truth. Because there is something that seems a bit too improbable in her confession.
If you're not sure, use story mode. You probably won't restart.
The one who came up with the kidnapping plan was the butler, Mr. Deacon. We knew that we could get rich by holding Lance hostage. Mr. Amano would pay anything to get his son back after all. Everything was going according to plan, but as soon as we got the money, Mr. Deacon turned on me and tried to kill me.
I don't think it's Mr. Deacon who tried to kill her or anything else, but it must be something else. Colin Devray, remember? Objection!
Right, because that's not what his name is.
Miss Pops, you really are clueless, aren't you?
What do you mean?
You never knew what your role in the kidnapper was, nor do you know who you really are. But I do, and I can show you with this piece of evidence.
Why are you showing this to me?
So what about the pendant?
This horse pendant, along with this piece of evidence, shows you who you really are. The wings.
Either the wings or the dossier.
No, the wings.
Okay.
Take that!
These two pendants resemble each other. Wouldn't you agree?
Hey, you're right. They're the same color, and they're even made of the same material.
I believe that these two pendants are actually one. Shall we give it a try?
Wow, it's totally Pegasus. But why? Why does my pendant match up with Mr. Deacon's?
You're a smart lady. I'm sure you can imagine why that might be.
Well, no, that can't be.
So the two makes a set. Huh, it's just another trinket. It's not as though this changes anything.
You lack imagination, Agent Lang. Very well. I'll show you with this evidence. This is the piece of evidence that gives meaning to the Pegasus pendant. Now you get to the call dossier. Oliver Deacon was just an alias for this man. His real name was Colin Deveray, the name that is etched on the horse's pendant.
What? An alias?
I suppose he had to hide the fact that he was a felon somehow in order to live. And it makes sense, given what is written in Mr. Deveray's dossier. But what I really wanted to point out was this. This specific section is what reveals the true meaning behind... What the hell? Push that history. This specific section is what reveals the true meaning behind those pendants. Check out the word soul daughter. I think that may be it.
Take that!
Take that! Mr. Deveray had one daughter.
Bad Badger looks less creepy than the Proto Badger. Gotta point out potential criminal with sharp scissors, right? And calls her clueless one moment, then a smart lady next, albeit sarcastically. Vu, thanks so much for joining.
Absolutely.
What do you think of the dual setup?
Yeah, give us some feedback. We loves it. Mr. Deveray had one daughter, and her name is Lauren Pops.
That's a lie. That person was not my father.
He couldn't come out and tell you he was your father because he was in hiding. However, I believe he was trying to secretly watch over you. Do you still believe that a man like that could kill the daughter he was separated from? Or even that such a man would allow his daughter to get involved in a kidnapping plot?
Not so fast.
And what is so funny, Agent Lang?
You're good at making things up in your head and deciding it's the truth, aren't you?
What are you trying to say?
I think it's cool with the two backgrounds. Thank you. Your thinking is much too innocent. After all, I've thought of another possibility.
Is that so? Well, let's hear it. Okay, time for another test argument. Another possibility.
I'll grant you that the two of them are father and daughter, but isn't it possible that they both knew that fact? It was no coincidence that the reunited pair became involved in the House of Amano, and the two of them made good use of their meetings to plan this little kidnapping. Wouldn't you say my scenario is perfectly probable as well? We're gonna have to press him.
So this is his version of how things might have been.
You don't have any proof that either one didn't know of their true relationship, right?
You mean they knowingly committed the kidnapping as father and daughter?
That's right, as one really rotten family.
Is that really what happened? I had better take a long, hard look at the evidence.
All right, let me see here. Mackin Park, one Badger. I don't see where the connection is at all. Mobile shop, victim's costume, he was liking wearing under the footprints. Letter for Lance Amano. The sender is the Tender Lender Loan Company. Yeah, where does this fit in?
What about the broken sword?
And that too. I mean,
Well, if you're not sure, you just use story mode. Another possibility. Time for rebuttal.
I'll grant you that the two of them are father and daughter. But isn't it possible that they both knew that fact? It was no coincidence that the reunited pair became involved in the House of Amano, and the two of them made good use of their meetings to plan this little kidnapping. Oh, there were 3 cups of coffee.
Right. So can you turn off story mode though? Objection. Oh yeah, that's right, the costumes. This kidnapping wasn't planned by just 2 people alone.
And what kind of proof do you have of that?
Quite simply, there were 3
kidnappers.
3?
4 costumes were stolen from the Wild Wild West area's back room. We found one of them in the kidnappers' hideout. But as for the other 3, we can assume they were being worn by 3 different people. We also found a set of 3 cups and 3 folding chairs that were used in the hideout. It all clearly points to a 3-man group. And I believe this third person is the real mastermind behind the kidnapping.
Who? Who is this mastermind?
I present to you the brains behind the kidnapping, Lance Amano.
Yeah, because he put that sword there so that nobody could open the unlocked door.
Take that!
Lance Amano?
Yes, this abduction was in fact schemed up by Lance himself. Recall what he said when he appeared before us.
Did you see the faces of your kidnappers? No, I didn't see their faces, but 2. One was a woman.
However, there were 3 kidnappers, which is in direct contradiction to what he said.
But I only saw 2 people. This guy was being held hostage. It's possible he couldn't see all 3 of them.
Ah, yes. About when you were being held. I have my doubts about what happened then. Lance, would you mind telling us what happened while you were being held captive?
I really don't remember much anymore, honest. But if I don't tell you at least something, you won't believe me at all, will you? Oh, boy.
All right.
Lance's
Time for testimony.
I was kidnapped yesterday morning. They had me shut in that room, blindfolded the entire time. But the kidnappers suddenly disappeared around the time I heard rain falling outside. My hands were cuffed, but it was a stroke of luck that they left me alone. I made my escape and ran away from that room as fast as I could. How?
Through the underground passageway, I presume.
Are you okay? Sorry, I really didn't want to recall that horrible ordeal, but now you believe me, right?
No, not quite yet.
How can you not? Why do you look at me with icy daggers in your eyes? Because he's a prosecutor, and because they're all like that.
I'll have you know, Agent Lang, a prosecutor's eyes are for discerning the truth. And should they be interpreted to be cruel at times, then so be it.
There's a sticking point in Lance's testimony. Let's see what he offers up when I push a little.
Time to grill this son of a bitch like a hamburger.
Yep, time for rebuttal. Lance's testimony.
I was kidnapped yesterday morning.
Hold it!
Hold it. Can you tell us about when you were abducted in a little more detail?
It was a strange morning. I felt like I was right in the middle of a great calm.
And where were you when you experienced this calm?
Our family garden, of course. Where else could it have been?
Well, excuse me for asking. This child is more princess than prince.
I was out taking a walk to shake off the morning blah. Then out of the blue, someone from behind clamps a hand over my mouth.
You didn't see your attacker?
They must have used some drug to knock me out, because before I knew it, I was off in La La Land again. When I woke up, I was in the kidnappers' hideout already, all tied up. They had me shut in that room, blindfolded the entire time.
Hold it. By that room, you mean the room in the kidnappers' hideout, correct?
Yes, but I was blindfolded the whole time, so I didn't know that until I made my escape.
Then you were in this... Say again?
I think this is where the sticking point is, but I can't quite put my finger on it yet.
That broken sword and broken handle. Think about that.
Yep, that's what led me to believe that Lance was behind this in the first place. Edgeworth cut in animation with those eyes always looked so condescending, and the sketchy-ass finger spread peak.
Well, you skipped something here. History. Then you were in the same room as your kidnappers?
They spoke in hushed tones, but I could catch bits of their conversation. It was definitely two people, and one of them was definitely a woman. I was so scared. I could tell they were nearby, so I didn't dare make a move. But the kidnappers suddenly disappeared around the time I heard rain falling outside.
Hold it! Hold it! The kidnappers disappeared?
The room fell into a sudden silence. I'd been left behind like an unwanted mutt.
And what do you mean by unwanted mutt?
What a pointless question. It's not like he's gonna tell you anything new, you know.
It's a poetic simile. You should learn how to use them too. You may look refined on the outside, but it's no good if you're not refined on the inside as well. Huh? My hands were cuffed, but it was a stroke of luck that they left me alone.
Hold it! Hold it! Then those cuffs on your wrists, I suppose you are still cuffed in that case.
I am well aware of how I am chained to reality. I couldn't find the key, so I'm afraid that I'm stuck like this. Even though I escaped from that jail cell, I will forever be a prisoner. I made my escape and ran away from that room as fast as I could.
Hold it! Hold it! How did you manage to escape?
I wanted to just get out of there, but the door leading outside was locked. No, it wasn't. Which is why I had to use the underground passageway to make my escape.
I remember our escape to be equally as hard. This is an invaluable piece of testimony. I mustn't let it go unexamined.
The door leading outside was locked tight, so I had to use the underground passageway. Now
No,
we can
present
present it. Yep.
That sword. Objection! You say that the door leading out was locked, but was it really?
Huh? We're talking about that room behind the saloon front, right? Look, I heard that it took quite a few men to get that thing open. Right, Sheena?
Okay, so for her, use the girl voice, but do something like this. Hello, my name is Agent Sheena.
Yes, that's correct.
Then take a look at this.
What is that? A sword? It's not an especially reliable one if it's broken like that.
Allow me to start from the end. My conclusion is that the door was never locked. It was simply held shut by this sword, which was used to jam the handle.
Huh?
Lance, even though your hands were cuffed together, you could still use them. If that's the case, then why did you not just simply remove the sword and escape?
Why didn't I? I was disoriented. Yes, that's it. I didn't notice it.
As if I should accept such a bold-faced lie. You locked yourself in that room because you had to make yourself look like the victim. But you did not, in fact, possess the key to the door. That is why you used the prop sword to improvise and create a prison of your very own.
Not so fast. You've been making this guy out to be one of the kidnappers for some time now. I wonder if you've forgotten something very important along the way.
And what would that be?
A motive. What else? Do you honestly think that an upright, pure boy like him would hatch up a completely pointless scheme such as kidnapping himself?
Objection! Objection! This proves that Lance did indeed have a motive to commit this crime. It must be the Tenderlunder.
I think so. Because he needed money to pay off a loan.
Take that! To put it simply, Lance has a very urgent need for money. This is hardly your typical love letter. It is, in fact, a collections bill. It appears our upstanding boy has accumulated quite a debt. Isn't that right, Lance?
Looks like it's hard being the son of a rich man, too. It must be rough when you have to resort to stealing from your own old man, huh?
All right, I give up. I abducted myself.
Lance!
It's over, Lolly. In this life, we really are bound to our fates after all. All I wanted was to go with you to a new town, someone where no one would know us. I wanted us to be well off with that $1 million, but now that dream is over.
Oh, Lance.
Then you are giving yourself up?
Yes, I planned to run away from this world with my Lolly. Oliver even helped us with the plan, but then he had to go and stab us in the back.
He turned on you?
Maybe he didn't want to split the ransom money. That's my guess. It happened almost right after you made the drop-off. When we were alone, he attacked me all of a sudden. After a brief struggle, I was able to contain him and keep him under control. We left him inside that room as Lolly and I made our escape. We wore different costumes and split up. Lolly left first in the blue badger costume.
That would mean the person Officer Meekins saw was Miss Pops.
But right then, the old man just had to wake up. I was careless and he tackled me pretty hard from behind. Then Oliver put on a bad badger costume, took the suitcase with the $1 million and ran. I contacted Lolly right away and warned her that he had a gun. They had no idea that they were related, so I thought that it could only end badly.
I still don't believe it. That person was not my father. Because if he was, I just killed my own father.
Whoa.
What?
Lolly, then it really was you. Oh boy. Chain of events.
That man was not my father. I mean, because at the stadium, there was a bad badger pulling a suitcase with the $1 million in it. But that badger pointed his gun at me, aiming to shoot me dead. That's why I used the gun I got from Lance. There was a gunshot. The other person crumpled on the ground, and I ran, scared for my life.
I think the big picture is finally coming into focus, don't you? Lolly, forgive me. I didn't think it would turn into something so frightening. If only I could have protected you.
So, Miss Pops, she shot her own dad without even knowing who he really was?
If what she says is true,
Are you saying she's lying? But why would she lie about something like that? What purpose would it serve?
you would be surprised how often people lie without even realizing it themselves, Kay.
So that means that the facts are simply wrong. That's it.
Huh? What's that supposed to mean?
What I mean is, listen very carefully to her confession once more, and you'll see.
Because, again, he was the person that was on the stage, remember? She was on the stage. Chain of events.
Time for rebuttal.
That man was not my father. I mean, because at the stadium, there was a bad badger pulling a suitcase with the $1 million in it. But that badger pointed his gun at me, aiming to shoot me dead.
I mean, part of me thinks it's the crime scene. So we'll keep going.
Hold it!
Oh,
Hold it! Were you able to clearly see the gun?
Yes, I got a very good look at it while it was pointing at me. Oh, Father, why would you try to shoot me? Do you really think a father would shoot his own daughter, Mr. Edgeworth?
I don't know.
I don't want to believe it myself.
But it's true. My father's left arm was raised with a gun in it, pointed straight at me. I'm about to die, I thought.
Miss Pops, please calm down and take a deep breath. And then, would you allow me to please hear that last statement one more time?
Yes, of course. But that badger pointed the gun in his left hand at me, aiming to shoot me dead.
Nope, that's not true, because guess what?
It was
right from the bad badger guy's right hand. I think it's in that other. What about that gun thing? Try and check the gun thing. See if that's relevant.
All right. Well, yeah, but it was his right hand, not his left hand.
Oh, right. You got a pressure on that, don't we? No, we're gonna present something. Think about this. It's Oh, wait a minute. He's left-handed according to objection. Yeah, he was left-handed according to the dossier. I have here a dossier on your father.
Let's look at this real quick. Stole a gun from a guard who might hit for his wife. Dominant hand is right. But pointed the gun in his left hand. But he's right-handed.
Right. I have a dossier here on your father. And according to this, your father was right-handed.
Then,
The person pointing a gun at you from atop the stage was not Mr. Deacon.
Not so fast. Hold on there, Mr. Prosecutor. I think you need to take a refresher course. The Bad Badger has a model gun attached to his right hand, which is why the only hand he could have held the real gun with was his left. Isn't it possible that it went down like that?
Agent Lang, were you paying attention to what Miss Pops was saying? Then again, I suppose I can't expect someone who has never set foot in court to catch it.
Enough with the smugness. Out with it already.
Miss Pops told us earlier.
there was a bad badger pulling the suitcase with the $1 million in it.
According to you, the Bad Badger had the gun in his left hand, which would mean that he was pulling the suitcase with his right hand. Is that correct, Miss Pops?
Yes, exactly. And I'm sure it was the bad badger. It had those huge sunglasses on its face.
But if that's the case, even I can see there's a huge contradiction.
Yes, Miss Pops claims to have seen the Bad Badger. And yet, the Bad Badger had both of his hands full. These two pieces of information contradict each other, so one must be wrong. Nope, both are correct. They are both correct.
Impossible. That just leaves us with an irresolvable contradiction.
Ms. Pop's entire statement rests on the fact that she saw his sunglasses and beard. But what if that Bad Badger wasn't wearing pants on his lower half?
That's right.
Yeah. This proves that there was a way for the Bad Badger to freely use both of his hands. His was,
Take that!
that one. The costumes have two parts to them, a head and the body.
Oh, I get it now.
The head Miss Pop saw was probably really the head of the Bad Badger. However, is it not possible that the body was that of an entirely different badger?
A different badger.
Yes, or to put it more bluntly, I believe it was the lower half of this badger. The body of the Bad Badger Miss Pop saw really belonged to this badger.
It's either the proto badger or the blue badger.
I would have to say it's the proto badger.
Yep.
What the heck is it?
It's the proto badger.
Yes, and it's a simple matter of process of elimination. Miss Pops was wearing the blue badger's costume, so we can eliminate that one. And the pink badger is of the wrong color, which would have been incredibly obvious. All that is left is the proto badger costume. Miss Pops, who was the one who wore the proto badger costume?
That would be Lance.
Not so fast. Are you saying what I think you are? That Lance Amano donned the blue bad badger's head and pretended to be Mr. Deacon? On top of which, he plotted to shoot Ms. Pops while wearing that hideous thing?
The stage that was set up in the stadium was nothing more than that, a setup. And its purpose was to lead Miss Pops into believing she had committed murder. Standing there in front of Miss Pops and pretending to be the victim, it was all done so that she would pull the trigger.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Why exactly would I have had to do all that, huh?
There is but one reason. Lance Amano. You are the real culprit behind the murder of Mr. Oliver Deacon.
What?
No.
That's slander. Take it back. You take it back right now.
Just out of curiosity, Lance, which is your dominant hand?
I'm left-handed, but what does that have to do with anything?
It depends. According to Miss Pops, her attacker held a gun in his left hand.
Not so fast. Huh. Who is what-handed doesn't prove a thing. And besides, now you're just being absurd. It's not like the proto-badger is bulletproof. One misfire and he would have found himself dead, right?
Objection! Of course. Logically, if he had been shot, he probably wouldn't be here with us. But I believe he had thought of that as well and prepared accordingly. And this should be all the evidence you need. This is how Lance made sure that he wouldn't be hit by a bullet.
Either a car or the gun.
Costume? He was likely wearing one of these. No, what's story mode saying?
It was capable of firing blanks.
We found one half of a bad badger costume in the hideout, a broken one. It was not the same one that the victim was wearing. Plus, it was missing something. And that something is the model gun that the bad badger carries, which can fire blanks.
And who's Oliver Deacon? Broken? Zion the Potato. Welcome.
What?
Miss Pops, where is the gun you use now?
I threw it away into the sea.
That makes it a bit tough to verify what it was. Although, I believe that we can safely assume that it was the model gun in question.
Not so fast. I've heard enough. All you've been spouting so far is pure conjecture.
Looked like a 44 Magnum. Yeah.
I admit that as long as the model gun is lost to us, I can't prove I'm right. However, I can say that the probability that I am right is very high.
Okay, let's pretend that you're right and that the murder at the stadium was a fabrication. In that case, where do you think the murder really took place, Mr. Prosecutor?
I don't know yet.
I knew you were full of it.
However, I do believe that the murder took place during an earlier time frame.
Hold it. Please, wait a second. It's simply not possible. Because I saw Mr. Deacon after he was restrained by Lance.
She saw the victim in the state of being restrained?
Okay, time for a little more testimony. What Ms. Pop saw.
I came back to the hideout long after the other two. By that time, Lance had already subdued and restrained Mr. Deacon.
If he did not shut his Hugh Jackman looking behind up, he kind of does look like Sabretooth.
He had tied Mr. Deacon's security to the beam in the room next door. After that, the two of us put on our costumes and made our escape.
So Mr. Deacon must have escaped after the two of you left, right?
We thought it'd attract too much attention if we left together, so I left first. We planned to meet up again at the stage in the stadium. But then, as I was walking through the park, I got a call from Lance on my cell phone.
Oliver managed to escape. It looked like he was waiting until I was alone. He also stole the gun from me at that time.
And then the murder happened. Mr. Deacon must have overheard their plan to meet up at the stage. Well, Mr. Prosecutor, Ms. Pop saw the victim with her own eyes, which means that the victim was still alive at that time. Wouldn't you agree?
Hugh Jackman is Wolverine, not Sabretooth, but I still kind of see it. Yeah.
Why does that sound wrong to me?
Okay, Ms. Pop saw the victim with her own eyes, which means that the victim was still alive at that time. Interesting.
There must be something amiss about this account. Let's see what happens when I examine it in more detail.
Time to fire up the grill.
Time for a rebuttal. See what Story Mode says.
I came back to the hideout long after the other two. By that time, Lance had already subdued and restrained Mr. Deacon. He had tied Mr. Deacon's security to the beam in the room next door.
Hold it!
Hold it! You are sure that it was Mr. Deacon that you saw?
Yes,
Yes, I am certain of what I saw.
Did you go into the other room to check?
Maybe Edgeworth had a blue badger head on himself. Maybe
No.
I don't know. Anyway.
Lance said that it was best if I didn't get too close to him. Lance, he's such a kind soul.
Then are you telling me that you did not confirm that it was Mr. Deacon for yourself?
I checked through the slit in the door that separates two rooms. He had a bad badger's head on, so I'm absolutely sure. That just had to be Mr. Deacon.
She saw a bad badger head?
The captain had a bad badger's head on, so I'm absolutely sure it was Mr. Deacon.
Story mode? Oh, wait. Are you sure?
Because here's the gimmick, right? He was likely wearing... Okay, wait, a missing costume. Look, Edgeworth was the one that was tied up to the post.
Oh, right. This head was left in the room. Objection! So I think there's a connection there. Miss Pops, the person you saw was not Mr. Deacon at all. The person you actually saw was this person. Me. It was me.
The person I saw was you, Mr. Edgeworth?
I always thought it was a bit odd. Why would the kidnappers abduct me even after I had handed over the ransom? It's not as though I saw the face of the kidnappers. If I were them, I would have just taken the $1 million and ran. But in the end, there was a point to it all. It was to make me look like Mr. Deacon. And if that was the reason for which I was abducted, then I believe we can assume that the victim was already dead at that time. Well, Lance, am I right?
That's...
You showed Miss Pops a person, namely me, with a bad badger's head on. And then made your costume escape together. Or so you pretended.
What do you mean he pretended?
Exactly that. I believe Lance watched you escape and then doubled back to the hideout. Probably to come and remove the bad badger head from my unconscious self. And to create his fake prison with the prop sword. He then escaped via the passageway.
Not so fast. Hold your tongue, boy. Don't get caught up in that tidal wave of words coming out of Mr. Prosecutor's mouth.
Tidal wave?
We've heard a lot come out of you, but I've yet to see a shred of evidence. The victim's betrayal and his subsequent detainment. All of that could have happened while you were out cold.
That's right. You were out for quite a while, Mr. Prosecutor.
Even if that were the case, Ms. Pops would have still seen me tied to that beam.
And Edgeworth's suit kind of looks like something Doctor Who would wear. I like it. Gotta go. Hey, thanks for stopping by, even if it was for 5 minutes.
Absolutely, man.
I was scared of Mr. Deacon, so I didn't go into the next room. So I really have no idea if you were in there or not, Mr. Edgeworth.
You see, it would seem that you can't prove a thing. Hold it. Who said that? Hold it. Please, wait.
Mr. Romano.
Oh, Miles, my boy, it looks like you're really giving it your all. And lads, it's not good to cause trouble for others. Dad? Let's see, you are the one in charge of the investigation, correct? Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry that my son has been nothing but trouble. There's probably room to make up for anything, but I have some evidence for you. Oh, do you now? Oh, there's the Bad Badger costume.
Is that what I think it is?
It's the Bad Badger costume the victim was wearing! And a gun!
I couldn't wait around for the police, so I went and found these myself. The pairs that they were disposed of in the sea. Ugh, is there no one in this country who actually obeys the law? There, no. Agent Lang, please calm down. The heck is that scrap of paper?
This appears to be a letter from the chief of police. Please allow Mr. Romano complete freedom to do as he sees fit, it says.
What?
The chief of police? What the? Just who does he think he is?
The person who wields the highest authority in this area.
There, no. There is no need to be so upset. I'm not a cop from this land, so I'm not bound by the laws of your country. No. This wasn't meant to strong-arm you into anything. It's just a request. I'm only asking that you please respect the laws of the land. Ugh, I can't really say no to that. However, returning to the topic at hand, it doesn't matter who found the evidence. Its value remains unchanged. All right, now, let's take a look at this new evidence. I've already got the results back. I had a special forensics research lab that I'm on good terms with conduct the tests. They verified that the blood on this costume belonged to Oliver. As for the gun, the only fingerprints they could find were yours, Lauren.
What?
You disappoint me, Miles. I can't believe that you would cause my son such stress and heartache. Thank goodness I was able to find the final pieces of evidence. With this, you have no reason left to push my poor boy around.
Why is he covering for Lance?
Oh,
Lance
boy.
obviously killed him.
Oh my God.
That's it? These are the case-making pieces of evidence? Ha! I'll be the judge of that. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. All right, so
what is this?
Oh my! What's this? It looks like there's something inside the costume head.
Hey, sparkle. I bet they're really valuable.
Sorry, but they're just pieces of a mirror. But why are they in here? Mirror fragments, data jotted down on my organizer. These were found inside the victim's costume. Why were they there in the first place?
That because he was killed in the haunted house. That's why.
See that? That's where the murder took place. Now take a look at that bullet hole.
Yep.
See that? This bullet hole.
It looks kind of burned around the edges.
Wait, those burn marks were left by the gunpowder. This is a most important fact.
Why is that?
Because it is proof that the victim was shot at point-blank range. Victim's costume data updated in my organizer. Worn at the time of shooting. Gunpowder burn is proof he was shot from point-blank. Could this gun be the actual murder weapon? Revolver data jotted down in my organizer. Used to kill Deacon. Was only originally stolen from guard by victim during escape.
Well, are these not the most definitive pieces of evidence you've ever seen?
Thank you, Dad. This should be enough to convince even Mr. Edgeworth over there. No.
Oh boy.
No
Testimony
way,
time.
dude.
Decisive evidence.
Make no mistake, there are fingerprints on that murderous gun, and they prove that it was Lolly who killed Oliver. But Oliver was also after Lolly's life. So Mr. Edgeworth, even you must see that Lolly was only acting in self-defense.
The fingerprints on the weapon, huh?
Oh no! This isn't helpful at all!
Look, Mr. Edgeworth, all I want to do is save Lolly. But in the end, all I can do is watch on as she takes the punishment for her crimes.
That may be all you can do. However, I still have a case to solve and a job to do. The job of unraveling your insidious lie.
You wound me. Why won't you believe me, even in the face of all this evidence?
I think Storyboard will tell us.
Yeah.
Rebuttal time, decisive evidence.
Make no mistake, there are fingerprints on that murderous gun.
Oh, yes? Well, how do you explain this, Lance? Fingerprints on the murderous gun? Objection! It's simply not possible for Miss Pops to have left any prints on the murder weapon. Because while she was at the stadium, Miss Pops was wearing a costume.
Huh? But there's been no mistake. We found fingerprints.
Well, Miss Pops, do you remember touching the gun at all at any time?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I did hold it for a bit back in the hideout. I handed it off to Mr. Deacon when he and Lance left for the haunted house.
Does story mode reset to start during rebuttals or only during investigations? So
Yes.
that's why it comes in handy with these rebuttals and these pieces of testimony.
Yes. To retrieve the ransom money, I suppose. And there you have it. That is when Miss Pop's prints found their way onto the gun. Do you understand now, Mr. Romano? The fingerprints do nothing to prove that Miss Pops is the murderer.
But you still don't have anything to prove that she isn't the killer, right?
Don't have anything with. You seem very adamant about insisting that your girlfriend is a cold-blooded killer.
Oh, Lance.
What? No way. I'm incredibly worried about her. But that doesn't change the fact that you don't have any evidence, right?
That's where you're wrong. I have the evidence.
What? How?
The story that Miss Pops killed the victim at the stage in the stadium. The whole affair is simply not true because that was not the real crime scene, but a setup. This proves that the real murder was not committed at the stadium at all. The fragments.
Take that!
This piece of evidence proves that the real crime scene is not in fact the stadium. Uh-oh, it's probably not it.
Mr. Prosecutor, I'd have to rate that piece of logic at a 0 out of 10.
0 is at least a 6.8 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not it.
What are we missing then? At this rate, Lolly is going to wind up getting arrested.
I must remain calm and think clearly. If the murder did not happen at the stadium, then the scenario where the victim was up on the stage and Miss Potts was down below, there must be something that invalidates it.
This proves that the real murder was not committed at the stadium at all.
Shot from point blank range.
Let us take another good look at the costume the victim was wearing. Then I believe you will see why I insist he was not shot at the stadium. This is the part of the costume that proves it. The bullet hole.
Take that!
The burn around this bullet hole was made when the victim was shot at point blank range.
Ah, so then, you mean the murder Miss Oldback saw at the stadium really was...
Yes, she saw two people, but they were separated by a distance.
Was so confused when you guys used story mode for investigations in the earlier cases. Makes sense looking back since it can't track what you've done and where you're at. Yep.
If the victim was indeed shot from below the stage, there shouldn't be a gunpowder burn.
Ah. Look at you, Mr. Smarty Pants Prosecutor. Since you seem to know all the answers, why not tell us where the real crime scene is then?
Lance set me up to look like Mr. Deacon back at the hideout. If that's the case, then the murder must have happened prior to that. And the location where Lance and the victim were at just before I was in prison was... I've got it. I know the real scene of the murder.
The real location in which Mr. Deacon was killed is here, in the haunted house. I think it's not unreasonable to assume the murder took place in the haunted house.
The haunted house?
Yes, and I have proof that it is highly likely that the victim was killed there. What proves that the real scene of the crime was the haunted... What proves that the real scene of the crime was the haunted house? Now we get to the fragments. These were inside the costume the victim was wearing. They're fragments of a mirror.
Thought it applied to the rebuttals without thinking things through, so yeah.
A mirror? And what does that have to do with anything?
Indeed, you don't exactly expect to find pieces of a mirror inside a costume.
Yeah, that's actually pretty dangerous.
However, there's one place I could think of where there is a plethora of mirror fragments. And that is the haunted house. Lance Amano, I propose that you kill Mr. Deacon with the revolver in the haunted house.
It's Clue.
Yeah. After that, you stole a blue Badgermobile to move his body to the Wild Wild West area. The timing of when the blue Badgermobile was stolen confirms this as fact.
Miles, my boy, say no more.
I'm sorry, Mr. Amano, but I cannot do that.
Hi, Blade King. You're just in time for tea.
Not so fast. Be quiet. Yes, please, do something. Stop that boy from speaking any more nonsense. Ernest Amano, correct? I meant you. Now be quiet, Gramps. How dare you? I don't need words. The only thing I require is evidence. Decisive evidence. And to call these mirror bits decisive is a bit too presumptuous, Mr. Prosecutor.
What?
Sheena, wasn't there a mirror in the kidnappers' hideout?
Yes, there was a mirror there. A mirror that's for the haunted house.
You see, isn't it possible the fragments got into the costume there?
But Agent Lang, there were no fragments on the floor, so the probability is very low.
Not so fast. Probability? Long Z says, on truth's path, the word probability does not exist. The only thing that does is definitive proof. The question, Mr. Prosecutor, is, do you have the definitive proof you need?
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you?
Do I have solid evidence that proves the murder took place at the haunted house?
The answer is no.
See? So since you don't have any, shut up.
I don't have the evidence yet, but I'm certain the murder occurred around the time I turned the ransom over. At that time, the only people at the haunted house besides myself were Lance and Mr. Deacon. If I can prove that the murder took place at the haunted house, then I can prove Lance's guilt in connection to the murder.
What now, Mr. Edgeworth?
Agent Lang, I have a special request.
Yeah?
I'd like to prove to you that the scene of the crime was indeed the haunted house.
Why in the world are you asking the werewolf for permission?
Because I don't really have a choice if I want to find the truth.
All right, permission granted, but you're not to touch a single thing. Got it?
That won't be a problem. All that's important to me is that the truth be brought to light. It doesn't matter by who or how it's done, as long as it is.
Sheena,
I'm here.
put in the paperwork for the authorization immediately.
Understood. I'll go get the Gatewater Group's approval.
Hold it. Who was that? No. Let's hold on for a second. There's no need to obtain approval.
Mr. Amano?
Agent Lang, if you would please take a look at this. What is this? Sheena!
It's the deed to the haunted house.
The deed?
Read it out loud.
Gatewater Land Incorporated hereby bequeaths the property known as the haunted house to Mr. Amano for the lump sum of $1 million, paid in full in cash.
What?
What? Wait a second. Wait a minute. This makes no sense. As you can see, I am now the legal owner of the haunted house.
Are you kidding? When did you...
I ran into the owner of the park earlier and we made the deal almost immediately. How quickly things move when you can prepare $1 million in the blink of an eye.
That $1 million you paid! Don't tell me it was...
Oh, that's right. This disgusting suitcase belongs to you, doesn't it? I don't have any more use for it, so you may have it back now.
You used the ransom money?
My Lance is a good boy. He even apologized for the kidnapping a bit earlier. So I do believe that I will forgive him. After all, he did return the ransom money. That's the way things are, so if you would please discuss things with me from now on. Discuss? What is there to discuss? Why, permission to enter the haunted house, of course.
While we were busy listening to Lance's story, Mr. Amano was out there preempting us.
Permission to search the haunted house is denied. End of discussion. Agent Lang, I want you to arrest that girl. And Miles, you should hurry on home now, my boy, before I really lose my temper.
Mr. Amano definitely has the deck stacked in his favor here. What should I do? If I leave it like this, the truth will be lost forever.
To be continued. My God, this is crazy. Well, we gotta
So,
keep
okay, how long has it been?
Hour and 40 minutes.
We gotta finish this, don't we?
Final confrontation. Ladder. Yeah, we're almost there, guys. We're almost there.
Let's finish this tonight. March 13th, 4:27 p.m. Gatewaterland main gate.
If I can't get permission to investigate the crime scene, then the truth will be lost.
Hold it! Hold it! Hold it!
Okay.
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you doing spacing out? Have you forgotten? There's only one thing you should do at a time like this.
And what is that?
When the people are in a bind, the hero of justice appears to save the day. Look, you just leave it to me. For I am Kay Faraday, the second of the great Yatagarasu.
But I thought you were a thief, not a hero.
The Yatagarasu is noble and is always a thief of justice.
That's... of course.
If we have enough information, I can recreate the inside of the haunted house with this.
Gotta give props to fluttering clothes in the wind. Yeah.
Plus, if we then factor in everyone's testimony,
You can recreate exactly what happened when I dropped off the ransom money.
We may be able to figure out some new information through this. It's worth a try.
Agent Lang,
So you want to use your little toy? Be my guest.
okay, hang on. You're all about to witness the true power of a real, modern-day Robin Hood.
Detective Gumshoe. Is there a copy of the haunted house's blueprint among the police's reference documents?
Yes, sir. We got it just in case we needed it for the kidnapping case.
All right, I'll input the haunted house data then.
Oh boy, here we go.
What is this? Where are we?
It's like we're inside the haunted house.
Even if we can't inspect the real location itself, the path to the truth slumbers here. If I can successfully navigate my way using logic, I'll ultimately arrive at the truth.
Now then, I believe I'm ready to investigate the crime scene.
Okay, what should I recreate first?
You haven't figured it out yet?
Maybe I have, and maybe I haven't. But I'm gonna make you do all the hard work.
Very well. I like to inspect the moment in which I was ambushed by my abductor.
The two of them were definitely in this place at that time. If I can verify that, it may provide me with a new lead.
I had just come out into the hallway after leaving the money inside the dining room. At that time, I saw a badger slumped over on the floor at the end of the hall.
Yeah, what was a badger doing all the way down there?
I also thought it strange. However, I thought that maybe it was simply a mannequin that was set there for atmosphere.
Do you know which badger it was?
No, it was too dark to tell. All I saw was its silhouette.
We know it was a proto-badger.
In that case, I guess I'll just program a badger silhouette in for now. Okay, programming complete.
Then I started walking towards the exit.
And that's when you were struck from behind, right?
Yes.
But that's odd. The hallway is a dead end. Where did your assailant come from?
There is only one location I can think of. I believe my assailant was lying in wait here. Beyond that wall. Oh. That doll I saw wasn't really a doll. It was, in fact, a costumed kidnapper.
Oh, so he used the costume as a perfect camouflage to blend in with the rest of the house.
Because remember, when we started this case, we saw that nightmarish scene of the badger sneaking up on Edgeworth. Like, I was going to shit my pants. Anyway.
Precisely. He waited until I had made the drop-off and was about to leave. Then, just as he saw me take a step towards the exit, he stood and launched his attack. I could think of no better hiding place than this.
Hey, not bad. I'm beginning to think I should steal this tactic for myself.
Just don't use it to do anything criminal, okay? Okay, so there's that. Now remember, that's his. That he was holding. I think he was holding that weapon on his left hand.
Well,
Lance.
It looks like his right. So anyway.
Well, Lance.
What? What are you asking me for?
As one of the kidnappers, I figured I should give you the chance to confess first.
I was one of the kidnappers, but I don't know anything. I did come up to the haunted house, but I never set foot inside. I left Oliver in charge of picking up the ransom money.
He didn't set foot inside. Is he telling the truth, or is this another lie?
All right, then you're claiming that it was Mr. Deacon who assaulted me.
Yes, I'm sure it was him.
Okay, inputting the new info now. Mr. Deacon was the bad badger, right? Since the bad badger has a gun attached to his right hand, I'll have to change it so the weapon is in its left hand.
Here we go.
Now to verify the facts of this recreation.
Begin investigation.
Haunted house. You didn't recreate the weapon.
Well, I can't exactly recreate something I know nothing about. So tell me, what were you hit with?
The attack came from behind, so I have no idea, but I doubt it was someone's bare hands.
Okay, then where were you hit?
I was hit on the right side of my head, just above my temple. There was a bit of blood, but it wasn't anything serious.
Ouch! Sounds painful.
Why are you smirking like that when you say it?
Hold on. Hit on the right side of my head, just above my temple. So, okay.
Yeah, so it has to be the other side.
It's just your imagination. Now let's see. I wonder if there's anything in the hallway that could have been used as a weapon. I'm looking for something the culprit could have used to hit you with.
It must have been the sword.
Take that!
Yes.
I have it. There was indeed one such object lying here in this hallway. A prop sword.
Are you talking about this thing here?
Yes, although we did find it at the kidnapper's hideout. Wait, yes! It's possible that the culprit took it with him after using it on me.
To leave no evidence behind, right?
Correct. It may be worth a more thorough examination yet.
Okay, so what test do you want to run on this sword?
Test with
Luminol. Yes, Luminol. The culprit was wearing a costume at the time, so a fingerprint analysis is useless. Let's run a luminol test. It's possible that some of my blood found its way onto this. Agent Lang, may I ask for your cooperation in this matter?
Like I have a choice. Sheena, call the lab boys.
Understood.
Except for a dab on the left side, it would appear that the blade is spotless.
So it must have been the left side of the prop sword that hit you then, right?
Broken prop sword data updated my organizer. Culprit hit me in the right temple area with this.
Okay, I'll update the recreation with this new piece of info.
What do you think of this new gizmo?
It's pretty sick.
I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny.
All right, highlight the sword if you would, because it wasn't broken at the time. Deduce.
Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold?
Yeah, the broken sword, because it was blood. Finally, I found a clear contradiction of facts about this sword. Except for a bit on the left side, this prop sword is absolutely spotless. However, if the culprit had used his left hand, the blood would be on the opposite side.
The opposite side? Huh?
If the culprit held the sword in his left hand, then the sword's right side would hit.
I see. But the blood was on the left side of the sword, right? Which means that he used his right hand to hit you.
Exactly. This prop sword has a large hand guard attached to the hilt. It would be impossible to hold it with two hands while wearing a costume with such big hands. Therefore, if it couldn't be the left hand or both hands, it must have been the right.
I'll change the data to reflect a right-handed swing.
Not yet, Kay. There's no sense in changing anything yet. If you change the parameters to the right hand, it only creates a new contradiction. Changing the prop sword to be in the culprit's right hand would conflict with what?
The bad badger, I guess. Oh,
No.
all right.
Costume.
One at the time of the shooting was ripped from the
Was
bad
ripped-
badger costume, so maybe. Let me try
What was
this.
this? The bad badger already holds a gun in his right hand, so he can't hold a sword in addition.
Hey, that's right. Then what now? If it wasn't in his left or his right hand,
It means that the one who struck me could not have been the bad badger. Are you paying attention, Lance? Mr. Deacon could not have been the one who struck me, which leaves only you as our primary suspect.
Fine, it was me. I hit you.
It appears that you lied to me yet again, but see how quickly they catch up to you, Lance?
wait, isn't Lance left-handed?
Ah, yes, but that's what makes this deception all the more interesting. He used his right hand to make it look like Mr. Deacon had been the one to strike me. For you see, firing a gun with one's non-dominant hand is difficult. But that level of dexterity isn't required to swing a prop sword. Kay, please input this new data. The one who hit me from behind was Lance. Or should I say, the proto-badger.
Because we saw it in the beginning animation.
You got it. Here I go.
Now we have a faithful recreation of the situation around the attack on me.
Oh, right. All you have to do is examine this new recreation and...
Not so fast.
And what exactly is so funny, Agent Lang?
It's that amusing little gadget. It sure packs a punch, right, Sheena?
Yes, it was all I could do to hold my laughter in.
Hey, don't make fun of little thief, you mean old werewolf. He and Mr. Edgeworth bring out the best in each other.
You've had your little fun, but now it's my turn. I've sat quietly by, listening, but the crude conclusions you two keep spewing don't whet this wolf's appetite. There's no guarantee that your toy will always show the real situation at any given time. All it displays is whatever information you put in there, right?
Well, when you put it that way,
Your suppositions are wrong. It's not your fault, so I'm gonna let you in on this. There is a trick to this haunted house.
And what may that be exactly?
A trick beyond what your tiny imaginations can produce. Sheena!
Here you are.
Now then, what you missed, girlie, is written right here in this pamphlet.
The 7 wonders of the haunted house. The disappearing badger.
Oh,
Hey, take a look at this. This looks backwards, doesn't it?
Let me see. But I mean, why are there blood stains on it?
I don't know.
Unless it's
We'll
just...
continue. Continue. I'll tell you what it is.
What is this?
I'd say that someone around here is fond of theatrics. And as you can see, they set a doll down at the end of this hallway for that purpose. Basically, the blue badger you saw was just a stupid doll.
Gate Wonderland pamphlet data updated in my organizer. Map and explanation of park attractions listed. How can this be?
Guess that throws your whole theory about it being your attacker right out the window.
But that can't be right. Maybe the culprit hid the doll somewhere. And then he laid down and pretended to be it instead.
Not so fast. If the criminal couldn't even hide himself in the hallway, how could he hide a giant doll?
Huh.
Do you get it now? Thanks to your presumptions, your logic started off weak and led you to the completely wrong conclusion. Now get off your high horse.
Mr. Edgeworth.
Okay. I wonder if you could please input the new information for me.
You don't know when to quit, do you?
I can't quit. Not until I can declare that I found the truth. Agent Lang, for the additional information, you have my thanks.
There you go again. We'll see if I care.
Okay, I'm updating the recreation now. That looks really weird. Look at how it changes from the blue badger into the proto badger all of a sudden.
If the slumped over badger was just a doll, where was my attacker hiding?
Well, that's what we're gonna find out, right? So come on, Mr. Edgeworth, let's go.
Yes, let's. This recreation can't be right, which means there must be a contradiction somewhere. Well, go to the end of the room, see what happens. All the way to the end. Check that mirror.
When you take a look around, it almost feels more like a house of mirrors.
Indeed. Who has ever heard of this many mirrors inside of a haunted house before?
Well, at least we know this is a real crime scene, thanks to these mirror shards.
Wait a minute. Okay, so like a mirror house, haunted house hybrid, this place is full of mirrors. Now check out that...
Hey, wait! These shards! There's something different about them.
Oh?
The ones we found earlier are thicker than the shards from these mirrors on this wall. And look! There's some sort of design on the back, too.
The pieces from that costume are certainly different from the other mirrors. What does this mean? Could it be that our pieces are not pieces of these mirrors? Mirror fragments data updated in my organizer. Different from the mirrors on the walls. Very thick and has a design on the back. Now take a look at this badger here. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. Alright, deduce. Oh, this blue badger is just a doll for use in this haunted house.
But the one who killed this blue badger was the bad badger, right?
According to the Blue Badger Bible, it says that they are each other's worst enemy. Hold on, look, take a good look at the Blue Badger costume. See the positioning of the belts?
Yep, I sure do. I see him.
That's the contradiction right there.
Okay.
All because one's an ally of justice and the other's a vile criminal with a gun?
Perhaps they were just destined to battle each other. Much like the Steel Samurai and the Evil Magistrate. Yep, call back to Turnabout Samurai. Deduce this one right here. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? Yeah, the Bible. Eureka! Hold on a second here. There's something wrong with this Blue Badger.
Huh? Like what?
The way the belt is on him is opposite of how it should be. Did you make a mistake?
That can't be. I inputted the image data exactly as it is in the pamphlet.
So then, why is the Blue Badger dressed up in reverse? Oh, well, time to put some logic together. Blue Badger in reverse, mirror shards.
That was the costume.
Kay, do you remember what you said earlier?
What I said earlier about what?
About how this building might as well have been a house of mirrors.
A house of mirrors? Oh, that would explain the reversed or mirror image.
Yes, this Blue Badger might be nothing more than the reflected image of a real one.
Then was the Blue Badger you saw just a reflection?
When I looked down this hall, I thought it was perfectly straight. However, if there was a mirror...
Oh, then it would actually form an L shape, right?
Precisely. I was deceived. The hallway was almost pitch black. And there was a beam in the way that obstructed my view of the other hallway.
Wait, but why build this place like that? It sounds pretty pointless to me.
Kay, this house is just another attraction at an amusement park. They created a mirror wall for a very specific purpose. One I can point out to you. This was the reason they built a mirror wall. Let's see. Nope. This was the reason they built a mirror wall. Let's see.
It's different from the It's very thick and has a design on the back.
Could this be?
Maybe. Let's try it.
Take that!
Nope.
I don't get it. What's the connection between that and the mirror wall?
It's up to you to deduce if there's a connection or not.
Wait, that's your job.
Gah! I should have figured I couldn't get away with that one. All right, this house is one of the attractions here at this park. It should be pretty easy to reason out why they placed a mirror wall here. This was the reason they built a mirror wall.
Let me see. Disappearing Badger. 7 Wonders of the Haunted House. Well, seeing is believing.
That's got to be it. The 7 Wonders of the Haunted House.
Take that!
Yes. As it's written in the pamphlet, the main draw of this attraction is the mystery of the disappearing badger.
You mean they built the mirror for that trick alone? But you said you saw the badger, so it was definitely still there.
That was true at the time. However, doing this allows someone to make the blue badger disappear in a flash. Move the mirror wall. To remove a reflected image, simply move the mirror. First, the mirror was constructed so that it could be moved. Then, beyond where the mirror was, an empty hallway had to be created.
Oh, so when they wanted people to see the blue badger, they would open the mirror.
And when they wanted to hide it, they simply had to close it again. This explains why the outer side of these fragments have a design on them.
Ah, and if the pattern is the same as the other walls in this hallway...
Then when the mirror is closed, it would blend in with the rest of the walls. This is the mirror trick that this haunted house employs. And this also proves the existence of a hiding place for the culprit.
Huh? How so?
Think about it, Kay. There was a place that was outside of my field of vision. The culprit kept out of sight by hiding here.
It's way too obvious, dude. It's right here.
Take that!
There was a very large blind spot, one I could not see beyond, and it was here. If my assailant hid on the other side of the movable mirror,
Then you wouldn't be able to see him. He didn't even need to do anything to Blue Badger. He didn't even need to do anything to the Blue Badger doll.
exactly. All he had to do was wait for me on the other side of the mirror.
Wait, hold on. I just thought of something.
Yes?
Well, shouldn't the mirror wall be broken right now, in reality?
Since we have a few shards of it, we can probably assume it is. Wait, remember when he turned in that ransom money, there was a glass shatter?
Yeah.
Did you recall hearing that sound?
I heard something about that. I mean,
Yeah, that had to be it. Yes, it most definitely is broken. The question is, when was it broken? Since we found these inside the victim's costume, that would mean that the victim was there when the mirror was broken. Wait, that sound.
Leave the money and go. Now.
That sound I heard was most definitely the sound of a mirror breaking. Okay, I'd like you to input some new information.
Ah, don't scare me like that.
Sorry, but I need you to recreate something for me.
Sure, whatever you need. So what do you need anyway?
If you could first recreate this hallway just before I enter the dining room.
You got it.
Now this, I believe, is how it was right before I entered the dining room. Although, at the time, I thought it was but a single straight hallway. And then I went inside. It was around then that I heard the sound of a mirror shattering.
You heard what? Then,
Yes, I believe it was then that the mirror was broken.
okay, so then when you stepped outside into the hallway again,
The mirror wall should no longer exist, Kay. Kay, please recreate that.
got it.
There weren't any frozen. There weren't any freezings or blackouts, were there?
Nope, I don't see any information about that.
Good.
Wait, but with the mirror gone, the culprit lost his hiding spot. So where did he go in his Proto Badger suit, Mr. Edgeworth?
That's easy enough. With the mirror gone, he simply hid himself in the branch hallway.
I think this about wraps it up. Looks like we finally solved everything.
No, not yet. An even larger contradiction has now reared its head.
Huh?
Perhaps you did not notice, but this recreation contains a very troubling inconsistency. The inconsistency between what I saw and the recreation lies.
It's either here or here or here.
Right here?
I'm gonna try this again.
Take that!
Okay, take a good look at the end of the hall.
Oh, there's no Blue Badger there.
Exactly. The blue badger that I saw in reality is not here. This is the final point on this long chain of logic, the last remaining contradiction.
So let me get this straight. When you came out of the dining room, you saw a badger, right?
And that is precisely where the final contradiction lies. Something that shouldn't exist was there before me. Who or what do you suppose it was? I believe this is the real identity of our mystery badger. This guy. Is it this? Or the time of shooting? Yes. The badger I saw was, in actuality, the dead victim's body.
What?
Agent Lang, the entirety of my complete logic is my final decisive piece of evidence. The murder happened in the hallway of the haunted house at the time of the drop-off. And you can consider the moment I heard the mirror breaking to be the real time of death for Mr. Deacon.
No.
Maybe it was due to their fighting, or perhaps it was the life-shattering bullet. But no matter what the cause was, the hallway mirror wall was broken.
Not so fast. Huh. You were in the house at the time, right? Are you telling me that you missed the sound of a gunshot?
Objection! There were a variety of sound effects playing at the time. All for theatrics, I assume. The gunshot must have blended right in. Now then, I'd like you to recall something for me. Who was it that was with the victim at the haunted house? We got him now. Who was the one who had the opportunity to rob the victim of his gun and use it on him?
No!
It was you, Lance Amano!
I'm so
sorry. I didn't like that one at all.
Yeah. It's not like I had a choice. Oliver turned on me all of a sudden. He snapped and turned violent right after I hung up with you. He shot me to the ground and straddled me. I fought back as hard as I could, grabbed his gun, and I shot him. The bullet must have went to his body and shattered the mirror. If I hadn't taken his gun and shot him first, I would have been the one you found. He's a hardened criminal. He escaped from jail.
Sir, that's justified self-defense. My boy was only trying to protect himself.
That remains to be seen and will have to be resolved in court. Agent Lang, I leave the rest to you.
As if you were the one in charge around here. Guys, arrest these two and get them out of my sight.
Wait, I had nothing to do with the murder. The only person you should be arresting is Lance.
Dad?
You fell over. Sorry, but you're not slipping away that easily, Mr. Ernest Amano. You tampered with the evidence so that you could cover for your son. What a great dad you are, willing to risk it all. Truly touching. Grr. By the way, do you know why I'm really here?
And how could I possibly know the answer to such an asinine question?
You wound me. I came all this way from across the sea just to see you, you know.
You came to see me?
What's that supposed to mean?
I have a few things to ask you, Mr. Amano, about a case from 10 years ago.
Uh-oh. A case from 10 years ago?
Oh, what's the name that you use here for that case? Sheena.
It's known as the KG-8 incident.
Oh boy. The KG-8 incident?
Oh, so you remember it. Like it fits him given his pansy persona but was lackluster after the handcuff snap. Oh, so you remember it? Good. then you'll recall that the trigger in that case was the Amano group scandal. Specifically, the charge of an internal smuggling ring.
Smuggling. There's that word again.
At the time, the person that was arrested as the ringleader was Mr. Amano's very own secretary, Mr. Colin Deveray.
Father.
Even though you pushed the crime onto your then secretary, Mr. Deveray, I always suspected that you were involved with the smuggling ring, Mr. Amano. Mr. Deveray was arrested in place of you, which is why when he broke out, you hid him from the police, right? You hid him in exchange for his silence on your little dirty secret.
No. Please calm down. I honestly have no idea what you're talking about.
Pretend to be ignorant all you want. We're taking you down to the precinct anyway for a nice long chat.
Hold it.
Hold it! I think.
What the? Who the heck was that? Oh my God.
No,
I'll take him down to the precinct, if you don't mind.
Who the heck are you?
I'm Jacques Portsman, and I'm the prosecutor in charge of this case.
Oh, Jacques, thank goodness you're here.
Don't jerk me around. This is an Interpol case, so keep your paws off my suspect.
Sorry, but I can't comply. I've got the backing of the prosecutor's office. See, in this country, we prosecutors work with the police to bring cases to court. So if you could please cooperate with me here, that'd be great. Now, how about a handshake to seal the deal?
Sorry, but I hate prosecutors, the whole lot of you. Guys, arrest the two suspects.
Sir.
Lance and Ernest Amano, you're under arrest.
Oh, I almost forgot. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, is it? I'd like to thank you.
Thank me?
Yeah, for working so hard to fulfill my goal.
Hey, is there any way to thank someone? And what the heck is that supposed to mean?
You were so relentless with Lance that you forced Ernest to tamper with the evidence. Thanks to that, I finally had a legitimate reason to arrest him. So how does it feel to bite the hand that feeds you?
The hand that feeds me? I'm not sure I follow.
It's no use pretending with me. You're the one, right? You're the corrupt prosecutor that's working with Mr. Amano and the smuggling ring, right?
No, I would never do such a thing.
What the heck? Our intel's never wrong. In your prosecutor's office, there's definitely someone working with the ring.
So Agent Lang suspected my relation to Mr. Amano. That must be the real reason behind his antagonistic attitude.
On top of that, your mentor was Manfred von Karma, right? There were non-stop rumors flying around about forged evidence with that guy. You're not twisting the truth behind those closed courtroom doors too, are you?
The courtroom is a place where the truth is revealed.
Well, don't worry. It's not only you. The whole lot of you can't be trusted. A prosecutor who never lost in 40 years? Every defendant must be found guilty? Fueled by that kind of thinking, is it any wonder that courts produce nothing but falsities and lies?
It would seem that his disdain extends beyond just me. Prosecutors, the courts, why is this man so angry with us all?
Rest assured, the next time we meet, I won't be.
Uh-oh. Please wait. Something's wrong here. Agent Shinna. Why does Agent Lang hate all prosecutors so?
Lang is the head of the long-honored House of Lang in Zhengfa. The heads of all police-related divisions in that country were of Lang blood.
Were? What do you mean by that? Aren't they still?
They were revered, but that was long ago. They don't hold that sort of sway anymore. And it was all because of the courts.
How can that be?
A prosecutor once withheld and tampered with the evidence one of the Lang detectives found. That evidence's purity was tarnished and cost the Lang family its honor and trust.
But not all prosecutors are like that.
Even so, Lang will never respect the court again, or any prosecutor.
So Agent Lang is a man who hates all courts and is unwilling to forgive prosecutors.
We're getting weird pauses, by the way. That's what you were saying. Huh?
Yeah.
Man, what a piece of work that guy is. Come on, Jim. We'd better catch up.
Yeah.
We've still got to deliver that thing to the old man, after all.
Oh, the videotape. Detective Gumshoe. Detective Gumshoe, I believe it's time we wrapped up and headed out ourselves.
Yeah. Are you going home, Mr. Edgeworth?
No. I've done nothing but be entangled in one mess after another since my return. If it's all right with you, can you drop me off at my office?
No problem, sir.
Excuse me.
Yes? What is it?
That is, thank you very much.
Oh, it's okay. No need to thank me, pal. Just doing my job as a detective.
I guess I was fooled pretty badly by Lance. Oh, cruel fate. What's a woman to do when she's been hurt by the one she loves? And to think I never realized my father was right there. I never said anything to him. I knew it. I'm a failure.
Oh, there she goes again, talking to herself.
It could have been you two bugging out on me personally, though. It might have. We'll see. Yeah, just on Vu.
Miss Pops. I wonder if you know why your father participated in the kidnapping.
Hey, Football Johnny. Thanks for stopping by. So,
No, I have no idea.
Your father died while he was trying to stop Lance, which means that from the beginning he had no interest in the staged self-abduction.
Wait, then why did he...
I believe it was because of your presence, Miss Pops.
Me?
Lance realized that the two of you were related, which is why he used you as a hostage to coerce Mr. Deveray into cooperating.
Father?
As a felon, he could not tell you of his real relation to you. However, as the Amano family butler, at the very least, he was able to watch over you. It was all he could do, but that was the shape of his overflowing love for you. Go on, speak your mind.
That is, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Although, there's no need to thank me.
No, Lauren, stop. I mean, this man's so much older than you.
Looks like you've completely stolen her away, Mr. Edgeworth.
way to go, sir.
Your technique is way beyond the level of a great thief.
What are you going on about now?
Wow, your deducing skills may be sound, but you have no street smarts.
That's Mr. Edgeworth for you.
Yeah, I mean, he still hasn't figured out who I am at all.
Huh?
If you haven't remembered in all this time, I guess I'm just gonna have to say it. This isn't the first time we've met, you know.
What do you mean, pal? Mr. Edgeworth, how do you know this girl?
Looks like you totally forgot me too, Gummy.
Gummy?
Here, maybe this will jog your memories.
It's a white scarf. What the hell?
Huh?
I promised I'd return this to you one day, remember?
That's... Uh-oh. That single piece of cloth took me back far into my past. To that fateful day 7 years ago when I first met the then child Kay and Detective Gumshoe.
Uh-oh. Oh, my God.
That's the end of that case.
Whoa, what a... Okay, cliffhanger. What
Yikes.
the heck is going on here?
Yeah. Wait, no, I got a better question. What the heck is going on here?
Okay, I think we're about to get, so apparently the next episode is Turnabout Reminiscence, and I gotta say, I think we're gonna answer a whole lot of questions. So,
Yep, we're going back in time, so we got to get out of here.
all right, well, let me go ahead and bring us back to intermission. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of Voice Acting. We will be back right here, same back time, same back channel.
Saturday, rather.
Yes, Saturday. So that's when we're going to hop back on our regular schedule. And you can always check out Nostalgic Mondays. You can always check out Legend of Zelda Tuesdays. Now you have two channels to keep in touch with. The Steel Twins Gaming and Steel Twins Andy on Twitch.
That's right.
So, so the expansion is on, and we could not be more excited. So, to close, I'm the Cannonball Alex Steele.
I am the Package Andrew Steele.
We are the Steele Brothers.
And we are for real.
Top
Top guys
out. Ciao.
Adios, muchacho.